Well, hello there, folks, and welcome into today's video. It's part of the new Millionaire series I have on this channel, Millionaire Explains. And today we're talking about what to do in a stock market crash. It's usually a video I would post on one of my two main channels, either Financial Education 1 or Financial Education 2. However, I thought with a subject like this, it would actually be a little more appropriate to just kind of talk a little bit and put a presentation for you here today and just kind of talk like I'm recording this at my dining table, and just approaching this from a standpoint of like you being at this dining table right now and us just talking back and forth about kind of what you should be doing in a stock market crash, how you should be approaching it and things like that, and kind of the type of things to stay away from in a stock market crash. So it's a little bit of a different format than I usually do for my regular channel, and I'm recording this at probably about 3 a.m. right now. So versus my usual videos that are hyped out and whatnot that are recorded usually about 3 p.m. So let's get into this a little bit. So if you don't know anything about me, I've been in the market for 12 years now. I've been through 2 stock market crashes. I've been through many stock market corrections over the past 12 years and many dips in the market. I have millions invested in the stock market, and I'm fortunate enough to lead a very successful private stock group, which has over 2,000 members now. And we have literally hundreds of people now in there that have hit either 6 figures or 7 figures plus in their stock accounts. So, the results kind of speak for themselves, and I'm fortunate. So let's get into this. Let me kind of put a video together that hopefully helps a lot of folks out here today. So this shows you when I got in the market, how I got in the market around like 2008, 2009. And, it was just a straight like stock market crash going on. Like, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it was ugly. The market peaked out in 2007, the Dow over 14,000. And at its lows in 2009, the Dow was under 7,000 at its lows. So the market had dropped literally over 50%. Over 50% in like less than 2 years. Absolutely extraordinary how big of a drop that was. And so I came into that and it was just kind of like, it was good for me to come into that. I wish I had a bunch of money back then, but unfortunately I was pretty broke at that time. I think I used to buy stocks back then for like $200 at a time or whatever. But it was a good time to come in because it let me know the reality of the stock market and let me know there's like volatility and to expect crashes and corrections. And this is something you're going to have to deal with being part of the market. So I think it put me on a good mentality. In 2010, the Dow had lost 1,000 points, like real quick. And at that time, that was unheard of in the market. I think that was just absolutely crazy how fast that happened. I think they call it the flash crash. I still remember Jim Cramer being on, and if I recall, Procter & Gamble. They showed that ticker symbol, and I reached down like $47, and I remember Cramer being on. He's like, "This just isn't right. If Procter & Gamble's down to 47, so you just need to buy this right now." And it's just like that was a crazy moment. It was a crazy moment that I happened to watch that live on TV that day it happened. But anyways, nuts stuff. August 2011, you had stock market crashes. 2015 into 16, there was a lot of drama, I remember. And this is just stuff that happens, right? And then obviously this leads into this year, which we had the fastest stock market crash ever in recorded history. Absolutely extraordinary. And you can kind of expect that because the market was really hot, right? In going into like February, and then out of nowhere, we have a once in 100-year horrible event happen, right? Rona comes out of nowhere, shuts down the entire economy. And so it kind of makes sense that we had the fastest stock market crash ever, right? And, some folks blame the algorithms and things like that for why we had such a fast stock market crash. But at the end of the day, it happened, and extraordinary kind of crash to go through. And I remember in March and April, I'd be walking around the house and just doing a lot of thinking about like how is all this going to play out? It was really like tripping me out, because I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, the entire economy is going to close down. Money velocity is going to die for the most part, right? And money velocity is so important to the economy and to businesses and things like that. And like, how is all this going to play out? And just trying to like think night after night, like how is all this going to play out? Because it was an extraordinary time to go through. And we're still going through it. It's just we're at a different stage now than we were at that particular time. So, there's been a lot of drama, and there's been so many mini crashes and things like that have happened, like where the market, all of a sudden went down 5%, 10% really fast, and everybody's like, oh man, maybe we're about to have a big crash or something like that. I've seen like countless of those whole situations. And here we are recently, right? Monday, the Dow was down 650 points. Tuesday, it was down 222. The market's going to open in a few hours, and futures are looking down 400 plus. And a lot of folks are wondering, are we about to have another stock market crash? Are we about to go back down big time again in the stock market and things like that? And I mean, it's not good. Let's put it that way. I mean, we're obviously in a pretty bad trend at the moment. 650 down, 222 down, futures down over 400. That's not pretty. Absolutely not. I mean, what is that? About 1,200 plus points? Pretty in a pretty quick amount of time. And here's the other part: we're less than 1 week away from the election, so it's very possible we could have more drama. And keep in mind, the stock market usually goes down. If you look at a historical pattern, the stock market usually goes down for 1 month to 3 months after the election, right? So who knows what's going to happen short term in all this situation. This video isn't in regards to, what's going to happen short term here. It's just about how to handle it if the market continues to go down, or we get into another stock market crash scenario, or in the future, you're going to go through a stock market crash if you're investing in the market and things like that. It's just facts at the end of the day. So, by the way, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm going to be sharing with you guys here today. If you don't mind, smash a thumbs up. That helps out the YouTube channel big time, guys. I appreciate it. So, I'm going to explain here one thing to do before the stock market ever crashes that you have to do, and then 3 things to do during a stock market crash, essentially. Okay, so 1 thing to do before, 3 things to do in the stock market crash. So before a stock market crash ever comes, you got to have some cash ready. I know there's going to be a lot of people on this channel who don't follow me on my main channels. Shout out to everybody who follows on the main channels, by the way. But I always preach on there to always have cash ready. This is something I always preach. Always have 10 to 30% of your money in cash. It doesn't mean actual physical cash around your house. It just means money in checking accounts, savings accounts, or it can mean physical cash, whatever. Just money that is accessible that you can get to. It could be money just sitting around in a brokerage account that's not invested at a particular time, but liquid money that you can get ready to invest in a snap of fingers. Within 24 hours, it's ready to invest, essentially, okay? If not faster than that. So always have 10 to 30% of your wealth in cash. I'm probably 20-something% right now, maybe 22 to 25%, I would say. So I'm a little cash heavy compared to where I'm usually at, and so I'm fully ready. If this market continues to dip, guess who's going to be continuing to buy as the market goes lower and lower? It's definitely someone like myself that definitely has money around. It allows you to take advantage of crazy deals when they come. You get crazy deals in the market. We saw a lot of crazy deals in the market, right? Back in March and April when the market was crashing, and even when it started coming back, there was a lot of crazy deals. There was a lot of crazy pricing in stocks, and it was a hard time to figure out what was going on because this was a once in a 100-year event we were going through. It wasn't just a normal recessionary event, right? And so at the end of the day, you get crazy deals in a stock market crash, and if you got some money around that's liquid, you're able to take advantage of those deals, and that is absolutely, positively massive, okay? And lastly, if you have some cash ready before a stock market crash comes, it lets you live with no fear, okay? Which is very, very important. I think one of the big things that keeps a lot of folks out of the stock market and investing in the stock market and taking their own money into their own hands and putting it and saying, I want to buy this stock and that stock and things like that, is just anxiety around a stock market crash or a stock crash in general. Oh my gosh, what if I lose all my money? What if the stock market goes to zero or this stock goes to zero? Usually pretty unrealistic scenarios, right? However, I understand anxiety. I've had different anxieties in my life and things like that. By the way, meditation helps massively. If you do have any anxiety, that's a lifesaver. Let's just put it that way. But, I understand anxiety, and I understand that people have can have a lot of anxiety around stock market and investing and things like that. And one of the big things to help that is having cash around, because then you start looking at things as not, I'm so scared the stock market might crash, but you can start looking at things from a perspective of, I maybe can start taking advantage if the stock market crashes. And that's a big difference. If you're 100% invested and you got no cash ever, you're never ready to take advantage of deals, and you're always going to fear a stock market crash, because all that means is bad news for you, because you have all your money invested in. If those stocks go down, you just go down right with it, and you can't take advantage of any of those deals in the market. That's not a fun place to be, okay? At all right? So yeah, before a stock market crash ever gets there, keep some cash around, okay? All right, so what are the 3 things you want to do during a stock market crash? The first thing, most important, stay calm during a stock market crash, okay? Understand this is all part of the process. Like, if you want to invest in the stock market, and especially if you're going to do this for decades and decades and decades, you're going to go through several stock market crashes. Facts, okay? There's just no other way around it. We're never going to, I can't foresee ever a situation where we never have stock market crashes. It's just going to happen from time to time. The market's also going to drop 20, 30, 40, 50%. It's just, you just have to deal with it. It's just part of the process. And if you look at it as part of the process, it's not so hard to deal with it once you understand this is part of the process. This is going to happen from time to time. Let's deal with it, okay? The stock market is like a good roller coaster, right? A good roller coaster should have periods of time where, it's a lot of fun and you're going around. The roller coaster, if it's a good roller coaster, should have some times where it's a little scary, right? And you're scared for your life, right? And the roller coaster should have some other times where it's not really doing much and it's just real calm. And you're like, okay, what's going to happen? Are we about to have some fun? Are we about to have a scary part? What's going to happen? And I always think that's a good expression for the stock market, looking at it as a roller coaster at the end of the day, because the stock market goes up and down and up and down, okay? And over the long term, where does the stock market go? It goes up. So if you understand over the long term, the stock market goes up. This crash, whatever you're going through in that short term, a correction, an actual crash, it's going to correct itself, right? Like the stock market, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, over time, they go up, okay? So, and even the Dow as well, right? So over the long term, the market goes up. That can definitely help you. And always remember, it's always darkest before the dawn. I always love that expression. It's always darkest before the dawn. Usually, the hardest time is right before things start to get better. And that's for everything in life, including a stock market crash. Usually when it's just like unbearable and you're just like, oh my gosh, Dow's just going to keep going down. This S&P 500 is just going to keep going down. My stocks just keep going down every day. I wake up and I'm down thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, whatever amount of money you have, right? Always remember it's darkest before the dawn. That's just something I've always seen in my own life, and it just usually plays out that way. So second thing to basically do during a stock market crash is actually don't sell during a stock market crash, okay? If you happen to be a super genius, which means super lucky, and you happen to sell right before a crash, respect, okay? But I can tell you during a stock market crash, don't sell, okay? It's usually just a very poor decision to sell out of stocks during a stock market crash, okay? The first problem with it is it puts you in a very short-term mindset. If you're trying to time in and out of the market, you've got a short-term mentality, and you're formulating your brain into making short-term decisions, which is bad, and I mean really bad. As a businessman or a woman or as an investor, having a short-term mindset is going to lead you to less and less success. I've just seen it, like everybody that truly has massive success, they all have long-term mindsets. The enemy of huge success is a short-term mindset, okay? And if you're thinking about trying to get in and out of the market, you're just making short-term decisions at the end of the day. And I've found with myself, every time I make a short-term decision, it always ends up bad. Anytime I ever look at a stock and I'm like, I'm going to make money in the stock over the next 6 months or something like that because things are going really good, it always ends poorly, okay? Like literally, short-term mindset is the enemy of long-term money. It just is, okay? And you don't want to get to that place. It's near impossible to time it out. If you think you're going to be able to sell out, we're crashing, we keep going down, okay, I'm going to sell out my stocks now, I'm going to buy it back at... That just doesn't work that way, guys. It's near impossible to time it out correctly. I've been doing this for a long time now, and I've seen so many people come and go in the market, and the ones that usually go are the people that they try to time things out, and they make really poor decisions in the end, okay? Great business people don't make short-term buying and selling decisions, okay? I mean, you don't see Jeff Bezos all of a sudden sell all his Amazon stock because Amazon stock might go down next month or something like that. Like, no, you just don't do that. And you're going to likely do much worse, actually far worse, by selling out of your stocks rather than just holding them through that whole situation, okay, and holding them through that stock market crash. It's just time and time again, people try to time it out. They get out of the market at really bad prices. I mean, there were people, for instance, in March, right? There were people selling their stocks heavily at Dow 21,000, and Dow 20,000, and Dow 19,000, and Dow 18,000 something, right? And there were a ton of investors selling at those prices, thinking they were going to time it out because the Dow was going to go down to 15,000 or 12,000, and it never happened, and it started going up. And then it went up more, and up more, and up more, and up more, and up more. It just doesn't work, guys. Don't sell during a stock market crash. I can just tell you it almost always ends poorly. And what sometimes happens is it leads to a lot of regret and a lot of a negativity mindset. A lot of bears are born out of trying to time out the market. I can tell you that, because then you start feeling some kind of way and you're like, this is stupid. Why is the stock market already going up? There's so much bad news coming out. It shouldn't be going up yet. I'm out of the market. It needs to go back down. And then it just keeps going up and up and up. And you just start, you know, I can tell you a lot of bearish people have been bred out of a situation where they were actually longs, sold out of the stocks, and got really jaded about the stock market because of what happened with them trying to time things out, okay? It happened in the 2007 through 2009 crash. I can guarantee you it's happened a lot in the March and April crash, right? Well, it was kind of like more February through March crash, right? So, yeah, don't sell during a stock market crash. It just usually almost always ends poorly if you do that, okay? Number 3 of 3 thing to do during a stock market crash is buy stocks, okay? But not just any stocks. It's not like just throw money at every single stock. No, okay, no. Very specifically, okay, buy stocks that are usually very profitable, highly profitable, okay? Companies that are usually, like, in any normal environment, they are highly profitable. They might not be that year because we're going through a big crash or something like that, but usually on most years, the company's highly profitable. And they have a good balance sheet, okay, to make it through the downturn. And making it through the downturn, that means essentially cash heavy. Cash heavy, okay? Debt is one thing. Debt, you should always concern yourself with debt as well. How much debt does a company have? But cash is the biggest thing. If a company is cash loaded, unless they have some crazy debt payment due, they're likely going to make it through that whole situation, okay? Cash is so dang important. Look at how much money they're losing if the company has turned to unprofitability, which sometimes happens in a big stock market crash, because sometimes, you know, if a big stock market crash goes down, usually you're in a big recession as well, okay? That's just usually how it works out. If you're in a big recession, some companies actually that are usually profitable go to unprofitability. And so look at what that company's losing. Think about what is it likely they'll lose for the next few quarters, and does the company have plenty of cash and then some around for the company to make it through, okay? That's so dang key. Remember, the sun is going to shine again. The sun is going to shine again, and that company that's usually super profitable, as long as they can make it through, they're more than likely going to be, guess what? Super profitable again in the future, okay? The sun will shine again. It always does, okay? So this is so important. So many people get caught up into, you know, just how bad a company's doing in the short term. Don't get caught up in that game. Look at the balance sheet and look at the usual income statement, okay? And look at where the valuation is in compared to that. Very, very key, okay? Look for really beaten down stocks, okay? Remember, if we have a stock market crash where the market falls, let's say 25% or 30%, right? There's going to be countless stocks out there that go down 50% plus, okay? Just because the market's down 28%, let's say, doesn't mean every stock's down 28%. Some stocks will be down way less than that. Some stocks are going to be down way more than that, okay? 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%. Look for some of those beaten down stocks and look for the opportunities there. That is absolutely key, okay? That's massive, okay? You can even pull up like a sorting list of like the worst performing stocks. You can Google that type of stuff. That's not hard to do at all, okay? And you're usually going to want to look for the kind of like the worst stocks to buy in a stock market crash. In my personal opinion, that I've seen are bankruptcy possibilities. So truly, you know, likely bankruptcy companies. Okay, some people try to take a risk, and sometimes it can work out big time, but it's usually a bad decision because a lot of those companies that are more likely going to go under, they go under. Okay. But also, the other bad stocks to buy during a stock market crash. A lot of people will tell you to buy these stocks. I can tell you, buying these stocks during a stock market crash is actually a really poor decision. And it's the safety stocks, okay? And I got trapped into that when I first got in the market, like 2008, 2009. I was buying a lot of these like safety stocks like Kimberly-Clark and some of the, that make like toilet paper and tissues and paper towels and stuff like that. And a lot of other stocks that were like safety stocks, Walmart. Those are the worst stocks to buy. If you're in a stock market crash, that means you're probably in a recession or going into a recession, right? And likely all of Wall Street's probably piled in the safety stocks, right? That's not going to be where the opportunity is in the market. It's just not. Everybody's already piled into Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Procter & Gamble and Johnson & Johnson and Walmart and all these other safety stocks, right? Because they're the safety stocks. And so people feel comfortable having their money in those, right? High net worth individuals, regular folks, right? Regular investors, index funds, everything across the board. That's where they feel comfortable. And so those are usually actually some of the worst stocks you can buy, other than the bankruptcy possibilities in the market, because the gains you're going to get coming out of this crash really just really poor. Procter & Gamble only has so much room for the upside, right? However, some stock that actually is usually super profitable and the stock's down 63% and they have the balance sheet to make it through, that's going to be the stock that probably 2X's or more for you over the next few years. Procter & Gamble is probably not going to do much, right? Coca-Cola is probably not going to do much. So don't get kind of trapped in just thinking you got to play safety plays. It's fine to get in safety plays in a super bullish market or something like that, where you might be like setting yourself up for a stock market crash. But I'm telling you, like during a stock market crash, in that stock market crash, when the market's already crashed a lot, man, the safety plays is not a lot of money to be made there. The real money's made in those beaten down dogs that have the good balance sheets, or the balance sheets to make it through. Let's put it that way. And are super profitable. So you always got to be ready to buy. So just remember always, stock market crashes are a terrible thing to waste. Don't waste a stock market crash, okay? If you're in this for decades and decades, which I hope you are, there's going to be plenty of them. You're going to see plenty of them, and don't waste them. Make sure you take full advantage, okay? So anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Hope you got some good value out of it. If you don't mind, share this video with a friend or a family member if they're into stock market investing or thinking about it and things like that, especially when you start to see the market go down big time like this. And if you don't mind, just smash a thumbs up. It helps out the YouTube channel in a massive way with the algorithm. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And I hope you got some good value out of this video. So anyways, have a great day, guys. Peace.